The Great War Station hung in silence above a dead gray planet. It was larger than most cities and shaped like a wide ring with a glowing core. Inside, thousands of beings from many worlds had gathered. They filled the viewing halls with strange colors, armor, and moving eyes. This place was used for judgment, not justice. It was where weaker races were shown their place. Humans stood alone on the central floor. There were only 3 of them. They wore simple dark suits with no weapons, no armor, no signs of rank. They looked small compared to the tall aliens around them. Many in the crowd laughed quietly. Some made sharp clicking sounds of mockery. Others watched with cold interest. At the highest platform stood General Krau. He was tall, wide, and covered in thick stone-like plates. His eyes glowed faint blue. He was known across nearby systems as a conqueror. His voice could fill the chamber without effort. "Today," Krall said, "we test the truth. Humans claim they are equals. They claim strength. We will see." The floor beneath the humans shifted. Metal plates slid apart, revealing a round chamber made of black alloy. This was the gravity trial room. Many races feared it. Some had died inside it. One human stepped forward. His name was Evan. He was not the tallest or strongest among humans. His face was calm. His eyes were steady. He did not smile or frown. He simply walked into the chamber when ordered. The door closed behind him with a heavy sound. Krall raised one thick hand. "Begin at 5 times gravity." The chamber hummed. The air itself seemed to press downward. Evan felt his body grow heavier. His boots pressed hard into the floor. 5 times gravity would crush many species. Bones would bend. Organs would strain. Evan adjusted his stance. He breathed out slowly. His knees bent a little, then steadied. He remained standing. A wave of surprise moved through the crowd. "Increase to 8, Krall ordered. The pressure grew stronger. Evan's shoulders dipped. His muscles tightened. His breath came slower now, but still controlled. He did not fall. Some aliens leaned forward. Others stopped laughing. 10 times, Krall said, his voice harder now. At 10 times gravity, silence spread. Several spectators felt dizzy just watching the readouts. Evan's boots sank slightly into the reinforced floor. His jaw tightened. Sweat formed on his forehead. Still, he stood. One of the human observers clenched his fists but said nothing. Krall narrowed his eyes. "Humans are fragile," he said. "This ends now. 20 times gravity." 20 times gravity was meant to kill. It was not a test. It was a message. The chamber roared. Evan felt his body slam downward as if the sky had fallen on him. His lungs struggled. His heart hammered hard against his ribs. Pain ran through his spine and legs like fire. His vision darkened at the edges. For a moment he knelt on one knee. The crowd waited. Then Evan pushed himself up. Slowly. Carefully. He rose back to his feet. The chamber monitors flashed warnings. The floor creaked under the force. Evan stood there, breathing heavily. His arms trembled. His face was red. But he was still standing. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was a simple human yawn, the kind made when tired or bored. The entire hall froze. Krall stared in disbelief. His claws tightened against the railing. "Impossible," he growled. "The system must be wrong." The gravity stayed at 20. Evan rolled his shoulders slightly, as if loosening stiff muscles. He looked around the chamber, then up toward the platform. The silence became heavy. An alien scientist named Lauren stepped forward from the side. Lauren was small, with thin limbs and wide eyes. "General," Lauren said carefully, "the readings are accurate. Gravity's stable." Krall slammed his fist down. "Then increase it further." Lauren hesitated. "The chamber may not withstand more." "Do it," Krall snapped. Before Lauren could respond, warning lights flared. The chamber shook slightly. Evan shifted his feet to stay balanced. Suddenly, Krall raised his hand again. "Stop." The gravity slowly lowered. When it returned to normal, Evan exhaled deeply. His legs felt weak now, but he stayed upright. The door opened. He stepped out of the chamber. Every eye followed him. Some aliens looked afraid. Others looked angry. Many were confused. Evan joined the other 2 humans. One of them whispered, "You okay?" Evan nodded. "Yeah, just tired." Krall leaned forward. "Human," he said. "Explain this." Evan looked up at the massive general. "There is nothing to explain," he said calmly. "You tested gravity. We live with it." Murmurs spread. Krall's eyes burned brighter. "No species adapts to this without help. You hide machines, enhancements." Evan shook his head. "No machines. Just life. Lauren stared at Evan with growing fear. Data screens flashed behind him, showing human homeworld statistics, gravity levels, injury rates, survival records. "General," he said softly, "their planet has higher gravity than ours. Their bodies develop under constant strain. Even so, this reaction is not normal." Evan said nothing. The crowd was no longer mocking. They were whispering. Some looked at the humans with new caution. Carl straightened. "This trial is paused," he announced. "Humans will remain under watch. We will uncover the truth." Guards moved forward, but they kept their distance. As Evan was led away, he glanced once more at the chamber. His muscles ached. His chest still felt heavy, but his face remained calm. The war station lights dimmed slightly as systems reset. Far above, unseen by most, records began spreading through secure channels. Other leaders would soon see the footage. The moment gravity failed to break a human. The trial had not ended. It had only begun. After the trial chamber, the aliens gathered in secret rooms, speaking in harsh clicks and low tones. General Crowell was furious. He paced across a platform lined with screens showing Evan's performance. His heavy steps shook the floor slightly, and his glowing eyes reflected anger and confusion. No one had survived even half of 20 times gravity before, and yet Evan had not only stood but had yawed casually at the end. Lauren, the small alien scientist, shifted nervously. His thin arms moved quickly as he tapped at screens filled with graphs and images of humans. "General," he said, "the readings are accurate. Human physiology shows adaptation beyond expectations. We must reconsider our data." Kroll roared in frustration. "They cheat. There is no way. Humans are weak. They cannot survive this without enhancements. Check every system. Make sure nothing is hidden." Lauren nodded, though his fingers trembled slightly. He ran through databases and archives that contained records of human planets, their gravity levels, and their physical training programs. As he scrolled, he saw patterns that no other race could match. Humans had been living and evolving under extreme conditions for generations. Every step, every exercise, every survival challenge had built their strength. Their bodies were natural weapons. And the more he looked, the more he realized humans had been hiding in plain sight all along. Meanwhile, Evan returned to the observation area. His legs ached, but his expression was calm. The other two humans, Mara and Leo, watched him carefully. Mara whispered, "Do you think they will try something worse?" Evan shook his head. "They do not understand yet. They believe in force, but strength alone is not everything. Patience is part of it." "Patience? Do you mean we should let them plan more attacks?" Evan gave a small smile. "We will respond when needed. For now, watch and learn." Back in the war station's command center, Crowell called for his generals and advisors. They crowded around a holographic map showing the gravity chamber and the surrounding sectors. He gestured sharply at the human reading screens. "We must find a way to break them." "Any suggestions?" One of the alien commanders, a massive creature named Rook, stepped forward. "Increase the gravity beyond 20. Make it unbearable. That should force them to collapse." Lauren shook his head. "Sir, the chamber cannot safely exceed this limit. Structural failure is possible." Krall slammed his claws against the platform. "Then prepare combat trials. Force them into battle. They may be strong, but they are few. Numbers will crush them." The generals nodded, but unease grew among them. Even with their superior technology and numbers, the thought of facing humans after the gravity test left a chill. Lauren continued to study the data quietly. He noticed that Evan and his companions were not just strong. They were calm, calculating, and patient. Their movements were deliberate, conserving energy, and their bodies absorbed strain without panic. Other races had never demonstrated this kind of endurance. In the observation halls, whispers ran among alien spectators. Some questioned Krall's leadership. Others wondered if humans were more than just prey. For the first time, doubt crept into the minds of the strongest warriors. A simple yawn had shaken confidence across species. Krall was aware of the murmurs. He clenched his teeth. "Do not forget," he barked. "They are human. They are weak. They must fail. Prepare the next stage." The humans had time to rest. Evan found a quiet corner near the viewing screens. He flexed his fingers and stretched his shoulders slowly. He noticed Mara and Leah watching him. "Rest now," he said. "You will need strength later. They will test more than gravity next." "I thought we were done. I did not expect them to plan further trials." Evan looked out at the massive chamber, lit with strange alien lights. "This is not a test of pain. It is a test of control. They expect us to panic, to fail. But we are not like them. Meanwhile, in the secure labs, Lauren made a discovery. Human DNA contained adaptations not just to strength, but to endurance, balance, and recovery. Muscles healed faster. Bones were dense but flexible. Hearts pumped efficiently under stress. Nerves resisted fatigue. The records showed centuries of evolution under hardship. Lauren's thin hands shook. "General," he whispered, "humans have survived conditions we thought impossible." "This is not an accident. They were meant to endure." Krall ignored him. He was too focused on planning the combat trial. The humans would enter an arena where elite warriors waited. The plan was simple: overwhelm them, show the galaxy that humans were weak, and restore Krall's authority. Evan and the others were briefed by Mason, the human commander arriving from the distant fleet. Mason spoke calmly. "They will try to use size, numbers, and intimidation. We cannot match them with brute force. We will rely on precision, patience, and movement. Observe, respond, conserve."
Evan nodded. "Understood."
"Let them strike first. We will learn from their attacks." The humans moved silently to the arena. The floor was covered with energy grids and alien symbols. The gravity field remained at standard levels, but the tension in the air was thick. Warriors of enormous size and strange anatomy lined the perimeter, ready to attack. The aliens expected fear. They expected screaming and collapse. Instead, Evan and his team walked calmly to the center, their steps measured, their eyes steady. Even the massive alien Brock, chosen as the first opponent, hesitated. He was taller, wider, and stronger than any human. Yet he paused, noticing how calm they were. The fight began. Evan moved first, sidestepping Brock's initial strike. The alien swung with enormous force, expecting the human to falter. Instead, Evan bent his knees slightly, shifting his weight and barely touched by the blow. The audience gasped. Brock was skilled, but he had never fought an opponent who absorbed strength without resistance. Evan attacked, not with force, but with precise targeting. He avoided strikes, tripped the alien's legs, and redirected momentum. Brock stumbled several times. Each movement Evan made was economical and controlled. The crowd was silent. Whispers ran through alien spectators. No human had ever faced an elite warrior like this and moved without panic. Brock roared in frustration. He struck harder, aiming for devastating impact. Evan adjusted, dodging with balance and timing. The blows were meant to break bone or crush organs, but Evan's stance absorbed the energy. A yawn escaped him as he blocked another swing. The sound echoed, simple and human. Silence spread. The audience could not comprehend the display. Evan finally tripped Brock with a simple motion, causing the giant to fall. But instead of striking him down further, Evan helped Brock to his feet. The action was deliberate. It shocked the alien audience more than his strength had. Humans were not only strong, they were controlled and restrained. The chamber was filled with disbelief. General Krall clenched his jaw, his claws gripping the railing tightly. "Impossible," he muttered. Lauren took careful notes. "They are not machines. They are natural. They endure what no one else can." Brock stepped back, confused and frustrated. Evan remained calm, breathing steadily. Mara and Leo joined him, prepared for the next challenge. The aliens realized this was only the beginning. The gallery erupted in whispers. Some were afraid, some were angry. Many wondered if humans were more than just weak creatures from a small planet. Krall ordered the arena cleared and reset for the next trial. He was no longer certain of the outcome. His confidence wavered for the first time. Evan walked out, stretching slightly, muscles still tense but relaxed. He looked at Mara and Leo. "Patience. Observe. Learn. The next move is theirs." Far above, in the secure channels of the war station, recordings of the trial began spreading to other sectors. Other leaders would soon see the display. A human had faced elite alien warriors, moved calmly, and helped his opponents stand. The galaxy began to rethink what humans were capable of, and the yawn that followed remained a symbol. A small human gesture had shaken the confidence of a conqueror. The true test had only just begun. The next day, the arena was quiet except for the hum of energy grids. Alien spectators crowded higher platforms, eager to see what humans would do next. General Krall observed from his place of authority, his glowing eyes sharp. He was tense. His mind replayed the gravity trial and the combat with Brock. Humans had endured what no one else could, and their calmness unnerved him. Evan, Mara, and Leo entered the arena once more. They were quiet, moving with careful steps. Their eyes scanned the room, noting the positions of alien warriors. Each alien was enormous, armed with strange weapons and expecting humans to panic. The humans remained composed. From the side, Lauren watched and whispered to a small group of assistants. They are not using their full strength yet. Watch their balance. They conserve energy and redirect force. This is not normal for a species we considered weak. General Krull raised his hand, signaling the start. A massive alien named Thok stepped forward. Thok was taller than Brock, his muscles thick like armored cables. He swung a heavy staff with enough force to shatter stone walls. The spectators held their breath. Evan moved first, sidestepping smoothly. He leaned into his movement, letting Thok's momentum carry him forward. A small push with a foot caused Thok to stumble slightly. The audience gasped. They had expected the human to falter under the heavy blows. Mara and Leo followed Evan's lead, moving in coordination. They attacked in precise moments, not to overpower, but to destabilize. Thok struck repeatedly, each hit meant to break bones. Evan twisted his body, absorbing the energy of the strikes and redirecting it. His arms were like springs, his legs like shock absorbers. Each motion was minimal yet effective. The spectators were silent now, watching carefully. Whispers ran through the alien crowd. No one had faced humans like this. The general himself was frowning. His confidence waned as he realized brute force alone was not enough. Thok swung with a massive arc, aiming for Evan's chest. Evan ducked low, rolled, and came up behind Thok. He tapped the back of Thok's knees, causing the giant to fall forward. But Evan did not strike further. Instead, he stepped back and helped Thok rise. The gesture confused the audience. Humans were not cruel. They did not strike for victory alone. They struck for control. The aliens whispered to one another. What kind of species was this? One that could withstand blows meant to kill, move with precision, and still offer help to a fallen opponent? The thought unsettled even the strongest warriors. Krull turned to his commanders. "Increase the stakes," he said, his voice firm but uneasy. "Surround them."
Use numbers. The arena floor shifted.
More alien warriors stepped out, encircling the humans. Their combined size was overwhelming. Yet Evan remained calm. He moved in patterns that kept the enemies from closing fully, sidestepping and guiding them with subtle pushes. Mara and Leo followed his lead, creating space while observing the reactions of their opponents. One alien, a creature with long claws and a heavy armored shell, lunged. Evan sidestepped, guiding the clawed arm past him, and tapped the creature's leg to make it lose balance. Another warrior swung a flail-like weapon. Leo ducked low and rolled under it, coming up behind the alien to press just enough on its back to shift its stance. Each movement was precise and measured. General Krull gritted his teeth. His warriors were supposed to overpower humans easily. Instead, they were being outmaneuvered. Even his best fighters struggled to predict the humans' next steps. The crowd sensed the shift. Alien murmurs grew louder. Doubt spread like a slow virus. Lauren observed quietly, taking notes on every motion. "They do not fear injury," he said softly. "They calculate, adapt, and act. It is survival instinct refined beyond our knowledge." The battle continued. Evan dodged, twisted, and blocked. Mara and Leo mirrored his movements. The alien warrior struck hard, but the humans stayed upright. Their muscles ached, but their strategy was clear. Exhaustion affected the aliens faster than the humans. Strength alone was useless against planning, patience, and timing. Evan moved toward the largest alien, a brute called Gore. He waited until Gore swung, then leaned aside, guiding the momentum past him. With a small step and a light push, Gore stumbled forward and fell. Evan offered his hand to help him rise. Gore froze, confusion and respect in his eyes. The spectators were shocked into silence. Humans had not only survived, they had shown restraint and control. The arena grew quiet as the aliens processed what they were seeing. The humans were small in size, yet powerful in skill and endurance. Every move was deliberate, every strike calculated. They were not machines, but they seemed impossible. Their patience and strategy made the alien warriors uneasy. Krull's glowing eyes narrowed. He had underestimated humans. His plan to crush them with strength had failed. He turned to Lauren. "Explain this," he demanded. Lauren shook his head. "General, their evolution, training, and adaptation exceed anything we have known. Their bodies endure what we thought impossible, and their minds remain calm under extreme stress. Prepare the final stage. If they survive it, I will need another plan." Evan stood with Mara and Leo at the center. Their breathing was steady. Their muscles were tense but controlled. They were ready. The audience watched, waiting to see if humans would finally falter. Then the final stage began. The arena shifted, walls rising, and more alien warriors joined the circle. The humans were outnumbered many times over. The pressure was immense. Every eye in the galaxy watching now would see what happened next. Would humans break, or would they prove that the yawn and calm endurance were only the beginning? Evan adjusted his stance. Mara and Leo mirrored him. They were calm, precise, and ready. The aliens charged. The humans moved as one. Their strikes were measured. Their movements conserved energy while controlling the battlefield. Alien attacks fell short or redirected. Slowly, one by one, the giants stumbled. Some fell entirely, some froze, unsure how to continue. The audience could not believe what they were witnessing. Humans, tiny and seemingly fragile, had dominated through skill and patience. General Krall clenched his fists, his anger and disbelief battling inside him. His warriors had failed, not because of weakness, but because their force had been misused. Strategy and endurance had triumphed. The humans finished the trial. They stood tall, calm, and unbroken. The spectators were silent, too stunned to speak. The lesson was clear. Humans were not to be underestimated. Evan looked at Mara and Leo. "We observed. We adapted. We controlled," he said quietly. "This is how it will continue. Patience and strength together." The gallery erupted into whispers. Even General Krall understood that his assumptions had been wrong. Humans were not weak. They had endured every trial with calm, calculated precision, and their yawn, simple and human, was a symbol of resilience that had shaken the entire station. Far away, the footage began spreading through the galaxy. Every leader, warrior, and species who saw it would rethink the human race. This was not just a trial of strength. It was a revelation. The humans left the arena. Their muscles ached, but their minds were sharp. They had survived impossible trials and remained calm. The galaxy had begun to learn that humans were not weak. They were unstoppable when patience, strategy, and endurance combined. And the yawn that started it all remained in memory. A simple human action had begun a new understanding across the stars. The true story of human strength was only beginning. After the arena, the aliens gathered in private halls to discuss what had happened. General Krall paced, anger and disbelief warring in his mind. How could humans, small and fragile in appearance, survive what had crushed entire species? And why had they remained calm, even yawning when they should have suffered? The generals and commanders whispered among themselves. Many were afraid. None wanted to admit it, but humans had proven something no one else had. Lauren continued to study the data. He had spent hours analyzing human DNA, training patterns, and survival history. His small hands moved quickly across touchscreens, pulling up information on human planets, gravity conditions, and environmental hazards. The humans were built for endurance and strategy. Every aspect of their evolution favored survival under extreme stress. Lauren whispered to himself. They are not only strong, they are disciplined, patient, and precise. They are perfect for challenges we never imagined. Meanwhile, on the observation decks, Evan, Mara, and Leo rested. Their muscles were sore, but their minds were alert. They knew the aliens would not give up. The next trials would be harder. They had survived the impossible, but now they faced alien minds plotting ways to break them. Evan stretched slowly, flexing his back and shoulders. "They will test our patience next," he said. "We must be ready." Mara frowned. "They already tried everything. How can they make it worse?" Evan shook his head. "They do not understand yet. They will find new ways. They believe in power, but power alone is not enough. Our control is stronger." The human small fleet outside the war station moved silently. Mason, the human commander, monitored communications. Alien signals were increasing in intensity. Commands, warnings, and secret messages were sent to every sector of the station. They were preparing a new trial, one that combined strategy, force, and fear. Inside the station, Krall called a meeting of the top generals and advisors. The arena would be reset. New warriors would be deployed, stronger and more numerous. The plan was to overwhelm humans through numbers and tactics. But the more Krall thought about it, the less confident he became. Even with new warriors, humans had survived trials that no other species could endure. His pride and fear collided. He could not accept it, yet he could not ignore the truth. Lauren approached cautiously. "General," he said, "if you truly wish to understand, you should observe them closely. Their strength is not only physical, it is their mind, their patience, their control. They survive because they do not panic." Krall's claws clenched. I do not wish to understand. I wish to conquer. But deep down, doubt lingered. Evan and his team were ready when the new trial began. The arena had shifted. Walls rose, corridors and obstacles were added, and alien warriors positioned themselves to attack from multiple directions. Gravity remained normal, but tension filled the air. The humans were outnumbered. Their opponents were bigger, stronger, and armed with weapons designed to break bones and crush armor. The trial started. The humans moved as one unit, observing and adapting. Evan led, his eyes scanning every movement of the enemies. Mara and Leo followed, positioning themselves strategically. Each strike from the aliens was met with a precise counter or dodge. The humans conserved energy, using only what was needed to control the battlefield. An alien with long, heavy claws lunged at Mara. She twisted and rolled, using the attacker's momentum to push him off balance. Evan moved behind another warrior, redirecting his strength with a light touch that caused him to stumble. Leo used the arena walls to his advantage, sliding and pushing enemies into each other. The audience watched, silent, shocked, unable to believe what they saw. Krall watched from above, his eyes narrowing. He had expected the humans to break under numbers. Instead, they adapted. They moved quickly but cautiously. Every step, every push, every dodge was calculated. Their endurance seemed endless, and their patience was unshakable. The arena became chaotic. Alien warriors struck and swung their weapons, but the humans' movement and strategy rendered brute force ineffective. One by one, aliens stumbled, fell, or froze, unsure how to continue. Evan helped a fallen alien rise, demonstrating control and restraint. The act puzzled the audience. Humans did not fight for cruelty. They fought for mastery and survival. Lauren took notes furiously. Their minds are as strong as their bodies, he whispered. They calculate risk, conserve energy, and adapt instantly. Every move is precise. They are a natural force we cannot overpower. The humans pressed forward with calm confidence. They did not panic, even when surrounded. Their strategy caused the aliens to clash with each other, making mistakes they would not normally make. The humans exploited these openings efficiently. Each successful maneuver increased their advantage while using minimal effort. Finally, after what seemed like hours, the arena cleared. The humans stood in the center, unbroken. They were tired, but still alert. Their calm demeanor had unnerved the strongest warriors and left spectators in awe. Even Krall had to admit, though unwillingly, that humans were unlike any species he had encountered. Evan looked at Mara and Leo. Observe, adapt, control. This is how we win, he said quietly. The alien spectators whispered among themselves. Some were afraid, others were angry. Many had never seen strength like this. Humans were not merely survivors. They were masters of patience and precision. Their endurance, restraint, and calculated movements had turned impossible trials into victories. Far above, secure channels recorded the trials. The footage would reach every sector, every commander, and every race. They would see humans withstand what no one else could. They would witness patience and intelligence triumph over brute force. The story of human strength was spreading, and with it, the realization that humans were not to be underestimated. The humans left the arena, muscles sore but minds sharp. They had faced overwhelming numbers and mastered the challenge. The galaxy had begun to see that humans were not weak. They were patient, strategic, and unbreakable. And the yawn that started it all remained in memory, a simple act that had shaken an entire station. What had seemed like boredom had become a symbol of endurance and calm control, showing the universe that human strength was only beginning to reveal itself. The aliens did not rest after the last trial. General Krall summoned his commanders and elite warriors. The humans had survived impossible odds with patience, strategy, and endurance. Krall's pride was bruised. He had believed in strength alone, but humans had proven that strength without control was worthless. He needed a new plan. Lauren continued to study human physiology in secret. He could not ignore the facts. Humans were not only stronger than their size suggested, but their minds were sharp, disciplined, and patient. Every movement had a purpose. Every response was calculated. Even their endurance seemed limitless. Lauren whispered to himself, "They are beyond our predictions. They survive and adapt in ways no other species can." Meanwhile, Evan, Mara, and Leo prepared in a quiet room. Their muscles ached from previous trials, but their minds were clear. Mason, the human commander, briefed them on the new challenge. They will try everything. Numbers, weapons, strategy. They will use fear and force together. You must remain calm. Observe. Adapt. Control. We will wait for their moves and respond accordingly. Patience and precision are our allies. The humans were moved to the next arena. It was larger, with multiple levels, walls, and obstacles. Alien warriors filled the perimeter. The gravity was standard, but tension was thick. The aliens had learned nothing about humans' patience and control. They believed brute force could finally break them. The trial began. Aliens charged from multiple directions. Huge creatures wielding weapons, some faster, some stronger, all expecting humans to falter. Evan and his team moved carefully, observing patterns and weaknesses. Mara and Leo followed, mirroring his movements and providing support where needed. Their coordination was seamless. An alien with 4 long arms swung in multiple directions. Evan dodged, using his momentum to guide the attacker into another alien. Leo pressed a push against a third warrior, making him stumble into the same path. The arena became chaotic for the aliens, yet the humans remained in control. Their movements were precise, their stamina unwavering. The audience was silent. General Krull's face glowed with anger and disbelief. He could not understand how a small, seemingly fragile species could dominate through calculation and endurance alone. Lauren watched from the side, fascinated. Their control over space, force, and timing is unmatched, he said softly. They do not panic. They calculate and act. That is their true strength. The humans pressed forward strategically. Each attack from the aliens was countered, redirected, or neutralized with minimal energy. Even when surrounded, they maintained calm and adapted instantly. One by one, the aliens stumbled, fell, or froze, unable to understand the human tactics. Evan extended a hand to help a fallen alien, showing control and restraint. The act surprised the audience more than his skill had. Humans were not violent for cruelty. They were precise, efficient, and deliberate. General Krull clenched his fists. "Prepare the next stage," he said. "If they survive this, we must find another way." The humans advanced through corridors, walls, and traps designed to test their endurance and reflexes. Each challenge was met with careful analysis and controlled responses. They conserved energy, using force only when necessary to guide the battlefield in their favor. Mara rolled under his swinging weapon, tapped the alien off balance, and moved into a defensive position. Leo guided an attacker into a trap without striking. Evan led, adjusting to every movement, every obstacle, and every strike. The arena became a chessboard, and humans moved as masters of strategy. Alien warriors, despite their size and strength, could not predict their moves. Numbers became irrelevant. Force was wasted. Humans exploited every mistake, turning overwhelming odds into opportunity. The audience gasped at each display of calm efficiency and control. The trial continued for hours. Aliens launched attacks from every direction, weapons swinging, claws striking, and brute force applied. Humans responded with calculated movements, conserving energy and controlling space. The giants of the arena fell into disarray. The humans moved through chaos with ease, precise, patient, and unbroken. Every stumble of the aliens widened the humans' advantage. Finally, after exhausting their opponents and navigating the complex arena, the humans stood in the center. Their breathing was steady, their muscles were sore, but their control had never faltered. Alien spectators whispered and stared, unable to process the display. Even Krull, proud and stubborn, had to admit internally that humans were beyond conventional understanding. He clenched his claws, his face glowing, a mix of pride, anger, and disbelief. Evan looked at Mara and Leo. "Observe, adapt, control. This is how we succeed. Patience and precision will always surpass force alone." Lauren recorded every detail, fascinated. They survive what no other species can. Not through machines, not through weapons, but through mind, body, and will. This is evolution perfected. The humans exited the arena. The galaxy had witnessed a small species dominate impossible trials with calm and strategy. They had faced overwhelming numbers, weapons, and obstacles, yet remained unbroken. The recording spread through channels, reaching leaders, commanders, and warriors across the sectors. Every species who watched would see that humans were not weak. They were masters of endurance, strategy, and patience. And the yawn that started it all remained in memory. What seemed a small act of boredom had become a symbol of human resilience and control. The trials had tested strength, numbers, and strategy. Humans had survived them all. The galaxy began to realize that the true power of humans was not in brute force, but in their ability to endure, adapt, and remain calm under pressure. The station quieted. Even the strongest aliens now regarded humans with caution. Their small size and calm demeanor belied a strength and intelligence that few had expected. The humans had not only survived, they had reshaped the understanding of power in the galaxy. The galaxy would continue to watch. But humans had proven one truth: they could not be underestimated, and their strength was only beginning to be revealed. The galaxy had begun to notice humans in a way it never had before. Reports of their endurance, strategy, and calm under pressure spread quickly. Leaders, warriors, and even common citizens across sectors watched the recordings of the trials on the war station. The humans had faced impossible gravity, elite warriors, overwhelming numbers, and complex obstacles, yet remained unbroken. Even a simple yawn had become a symbol of their strength. Inside the station, General Kral paced angrily. His pride had been tested repeatedly. Humans had survived trials designed to crush, humiliate, and break them. Even his strongest warriors had been unable to overcome their strategy and patience. Kral's mind raced. He could not underestimate them any longer, yet he struggled to accept their true nature. Lauren, the small alien scientist, watched carefully from a nearby control room. He had studied humans for hours, analyzing every movement, every response, every breath. "They are extraordinary," he whispered. "Not machines. Not enhancements. Pure survival, refined over generations. They endure because they do not panic. They act because they understand control." Evan, Mara, and Leo prepared in the observation area. They had survived trials that no other species could face, but they knew this final stage would be different. Mason, the human commander, briefed them quietly. "This is the ultimate test. They will try to break you through fear, through force, and through numbers. Stay calm. Observe. Respond. Control the situation. Patience is our ally. Strategy is our weapon. We will endure and adapt." The final arena was unlike any before. The walls rose high, forming multiple chambers connected by narrow corridors. Alien warriors were stationed in every corner, equipped with advanced weapons and devices designed to overwhelm. Gravity remained normal, but the psychological pressure was immense. Every alien on the war station believed this trial would finally prove humans weak. The trial began. Aliens charged from every direction. Huge warriors swung massive weapons. Some attacked in groups. Others attempted to isolate individual humans. Every strike was meant to break, crush, or incapacitate, yet the humans moved with precision. Each step was measured, each counter was calculated. They were calm, controlled, and aware of every detail in the arena. Evan led, moving through corridors and chambers with awareness. Mara and Leo followed in perfect coordination, covering blind spots, creating space, and guiding alien momentum against itself. Each alien attack was met with redirection or careful deflection. Energy was conserved. Force was used only when necessary. Their movements were a blend of patience, calculation, and strength. An enormous alien with armored arms lunged at Mara. She ducked, rolled, and pushed the attacker into another warrior. Chaos spread among the aliens. Evan guided two others into stumbling positions with subtle touches. Leo used walls and obstacles to advantage, redirecting momentum to prevent attacks from reaching them. The audience watched, shocked, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. Humans, small and seemingly fragile, dominated through control and strategy. General Kral's anger grew. His warriors were strong, but they could not anticipate human actions. Each time they struck, they created opportunities for counteraction. The humans had turned overwhelming numbers into confusion, and brute strength was now their disadvantage. Lauren whispered to assistants. "They calculate everything. Their endurance is endless because they act without panic. Their movements are precise. They are not just surviving. They are controlling the entire battlefield." Each obstacle, each trap, was neutralized with intelligence and patience. Even when surrounded, they maintained calm and turned attacks against the aliens. One by one, giant warriors stumbled or froze. Some fell completely. Some were confused by the humans' restraint and control. Every successful maneuver reinforced their dominance. Finally, the arena grew quiet. The humans stood in the center, unbroken and alert. Their breathing was steady. Their muscles ached, but they remained poised. Alien spectators whispered and stared in awe. They had witnessed strength beyond size, endurance beyond expectation, and strategy beyond imagination. Even General Kral's pride could not deny the truth. Humans were extraordinary. Evan looked at Mara and Leo. "Observe. Adapt. Control. This is how we triumph. Patience and strategy are stronger than brute force." The war station recorded every moment. The footage would spread across the galaxy, reaching leaders, warriors, and citizens. Every species would see that humans could survive impossible challenges, remain calm under stress, and turn adversity into advantage. Humans had not only endured, they had transformed every trial into a demonstration of intelligence, restraint, and mastery. Outside the station, the human fleet moved silently. Mason monitored communications. The galaxy was taking notice. Other species would begin to treat humans not as weaklings, but as masters of survival, strategy, and control. The trials had proven one thing beyond doubt. Humans were not to be underestimated. Evan stepped forward and looked at the arena. His eyes were calm, but his mind sharp. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "The galaxy will learn what it means to face humans." The yawn, simple and human, that had begun all of this now held a new meaning. It was no longer a sign of boredom or tiredness. It was a symbol of endurance, calm, and control. It had shaken a conqueror, confused an entire station, and inspired fear and respect across the galaxy. The humans left the arena, muscles sore but minds alert. Their calm demeanor, strategic minds, and patient endurance had turned impossible trials into victories. The galaxy would remember the humans who survived 20 times gravity, outmaneuvered elite warriors, and showed that strength, patience, and control together were unmatched. And thus, the legend of humans spread, not just for their strength, but for their endurance, intelligence, and unyielding calm. A species once underestimated had revealed the truth. Humans were a force that could not be broken, a force that would shape the galaxy. The trials were over, but the impact had only just begun.